Hello everyone, Weather Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on the weather across Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean. It is Saturday evening, July 27, 2024. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you guys like the video. I'd really appreciate it if you guys get this video up to 100 likes. If you don't know by now, that's how the YouTube algorithm works. We all like the video and then the YouTube algorithm pushes the video out to more persons who are in the path of these tropical systems so we can keep everyone safe, especially during the peak of Atlantic hurricane season, that's August through to October. Share this video with your friends, your co-workers, your relatives, and even your church brethren, and subscribe if you haven't yet done so. Leave a comment down below letting me know what the dads been like in your area recently. Also feel free to ask any weather related question that you might have about the future of the weather in your specific area. Alright, so let us take a look at the US National Hurricane Center 7-day graphical tropical weather outlook. We can see that they've now upped the chances of this tropical wave to now a medium chance of cyclone formation, a 40% chance that is. And if we take a closer look at what they're saying, they've stated here, an area of disturbed weather over the central tropical Atlantic Ocean is expected to interact with an approaching tropical wave during the next several days. Environmental conditions are forecast to become conducive for some development in a day or two, and a tropical depression could form around midweek while the system is near or over the northern Leeward Islands, Greater Antilles, or southwestern Atlantic Ocean. And we can see that they still have it as a 0% chance for cyclone formation within the next 48 hours. That's the next 2 days, but they give it a 40% chance of forming into a tropical depression, and we know what comes after a tropical depression, the tropical storm, within the next 7 days. So we need to pay close attention, especially considering that Jamaica is right here within the highlighted region. So it could be a case where it takes the more northerly track, like what some of the models are showing, or it could be a case where it takes a southerly track, or it could be a case where it takes the middle track, threads the needle across portions of Puerto Rico, Hispaniola, and Cuba. It's going to be very interesting to see what unfolds, and I'll definitely be here to keep you posted with what happens. Either way, as it relates to what the supercomputer models are showing, we can see the Euro model right here, and we're just going to be going out to the next 168 hours, and we're going to be keeping our eye on this portion right here. We know Jamaica is right here, Eastern Caribbean Islands are right here, so the system is definitely going to be coming in from this direction. Let's see exactly what it does, and keep your eye on the timestamp right here and look out for the greens and yellows that represent some amount of moisture. So we're going to be running the Euro model first, then we're going to be running the GFS model. So let's go out in time just to the next 168 hours, that's the next 7 days, and we start to see the moisture associated with this tropical wave starting to come into portion of the Leeward Islands, and this is valid for 9Z on Wednesday when calculated. That's about 4 a.m. on Wednesday morning, and we can see that there's definitely some amount of rainfall plaguing portions of the Leeward Islands, the US and British Virgin Islands, St. Martin, St. Kitts and Nevis, Anguilla, Antigua and Barbuda, Guadeloupe, Dominica, Martinique. Then as we continue to go out in time, we see that it is taking more of a northerly track. Here we have the area of low pressure to the north of Cuba, to the north of Haiti, affecting portions of the Bahamas. That's where that model has it by the end of the 168 hours, by the end of the next 7 days. So by 12Z on Saturday, which is actually 7 a.m. on Saturday, this is where the model has it. But we can see that regardless of it being to the north of Jamaica right here, there's still some amount of moisture that's going to be plaguing our area, so some rainfall could be in the forecast. That's if this one verifies. Let us see what the GFS model shows. And firstly, we're going to be looking at the 12Z GFS model, the one that came out today during midday, because both of them definitely showed something different at the 12Z and at the 18Z run. So we're going to be showing the 18Z run afterwards. So we can see that not much taking place. By the end of 168 hours, we don't even recognize where the system is, we do see a huge surge of moisture as represented by the grids coming into portions of the northern Caribbean islands, but nothing compared to what the Euro model was showing at all. If we take a look at the 18Z run of the GFS, let us see what it is showing. This is updated run here. We still see just an abundance of moisture coming in as represented by the greens to affect sections of the northern Caribbean islands and the greater Antilles. Either way, we'll take the rainfall. We don't want the tropical depression at all, but I'm pretty sure that the Hurricane Center has upped the chances, especially considering that the Euro model has been so persistent with the forecast, and the GFS, which was a bit robust, just like what the Euro was showing a day ago, as it dropped the chances a bit for possible tropical cyclone development. Who knows? Either way, these models are unpredictable sometimes. We might just have the 0Z run of the GFS coming out tonight, or the 6Z run tomorrow, or the 12Z tomorrow, showing something very similar to what the Euro is showing in terms of intensity, or whatever the case may be. Either way, I'll definitely be here to keep you posted with what happens as it relates to the accumulated precipitation forecast over the next 7 days. We can see the Euro model making more sense, having more of the rainfall across the waters, especially to the north of the Caribbean, where we see those darker reds and purples. That represents up to 2.5 inches of rainfall, up to 3 inches of rainfall. Remember, this is just the Euro model, while the GFS model is showing more of that rainfall plaguing portions of the northeastern Caribbean into portions of the greater Antilles right here with all of these. Right, so it's gonna be interesting to see exactly what unfolds. This is exactly why the Hurricane Center has highlighted the area just like this. They're not really sure where it's gonna be going, if it's gonna be taking more of that northerly track that the Euro has, or if it's going to be taking more of that southerly track like what the GFS had shown. But as soon as both of them starts to show some consensus agreement and show maybe a track maybe in the center, or both of them show a track maybe this direction, that's when the certainty will definitely pick up. And then if they're going to increase this to a code red, more than likely the hatched area is going to be shrinked down a bit in a sense. But for now, they're not really sure at all, especially considering what the models are predicting. Let's switch gears right now and talk about what's happening on the Atlantic weather discussion. We can see that from the NHC, they still have some tropical waves highlighted. A tropical wave right here across the eastern Atlantic Ocean. Another tropical wave right here, moving from the eastern Atlantic to the central Atlantic Ocean. And another tropical wave right here that has exited the northwestern Caribbean Sea, and it's definitely affecting portions of Central America as we speak. If we take a look at the surface map, we can see these tropical waves even better. The tropical wave right here to the west of the Cabo Verde Islands, the tropical wave that's about to enter portions of the Central Atlantic, and off screen the tropical wave definitely somewhere right here across portions of the Central America region. It was the same tropical wave that lashed portions of Jamaica yesterday, and it definitely moved quickly, courtesy of the ridge of high pressure right here. The high pressure ridge is responsible for sending all of these systems from east to west in the easterly trade winds, not to mention the amount of Saharan dust from Africa. If we take a look at the visible satellite images of the Atlantic before the sun went down, we can see the clouds associated with that tropical wave definitely doing a number on Central America, Honduras, Nicaragua, El Salvador, Guatemala, Belize, definitely getting in on some thunderstorms as we speak. We can also see the clouds associated with the tropical wave that the Hurricane Center is watching for some development, which is expected to move northwestward, then make some kind of flow like this, whether it's going to be taking more of a northerly track or more of a southerly track like what the GFS was showing. We'll see exactly what unfolds with that. And we can also see the clouds associated with the other tropical wave closer to Africa. We'll be talking more about the rest of the Caribbean weather later on. Let us focus our attention on the prediction that was made in yesterday's video. about, well, last night's video about the weather across Jamaica for today, Saturday, July 27. It was stated that sections of some northwestern parishes would have received some afternoon rainfall, and parts of eastern parishes would have received some morning rainfall on Saturday. And just for reference, we know eastern parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Surrey. So Portland, St. Thomas, Kingston, St. Andrew. While western parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Cornwall. So St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, Hanover, St. James, and Trelawney. Northern parishes, by the way, we're talking about those parishes on top. So Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, St. Anne, St. Mary, and Portland. And what ended up happening? As early as 8:05 a.m., the visible satellite image was posted here on our Twitter page at Weather Jamaica. Keep in mind that these posts aren't only made here on our Twitter page, but they're made on our Instagram page at weather.jamaica, on our TikTok page at Weather Jamaica, and on our Facebook page at Weather Jamaica 876. So if you have one of those social media platforms, please ensure that you follow us there, as we make posts throughout the day that you can't afford to miss. So we saw the visible satellite image that was posted, and it definitely showed the clouds bringing some isolated shores to sections of eastern Jamaica, more so northeastern Jamaica than anything else. The sections of Portland, section of St. Mary got in on some of the activity. Some of that might have spilled into sections of St. Anne as well. And we definitely have confirmation from one of our followers on our Instagram page. We have Jamaican underscore Empress 91 stating raining in St. Mary. That indeed confirms the morning rainfall. Then during the afternoon, another post was made highlighting the visible satellite images showing clouds bring some isolated thunder showers to sections of some western parishes. So definitely more so Hanover than anything else. Maybe northwestern Westmoreland might have gotten on some of the action as well. But we saw that buildup of clouds right there. And we saw the sparkling yellow dots that we know represents some amount of lightning strikes, if not lightning flashes. Most of the activity today was definitely off to the north coast. Some of it might have also been leftover rainfall from this morning that affected Portland, St. Mary, and spilled into sections of St. Anna and Trelawney. But we also highlighted the fact that the rest of the island was experiencing sunny, hot, and hazy weather, and we definitely saw that the sky was not as blue today. Definitely some hazy conditions. And we have a commenter here on our Instagram page confirming the weather in their area. This is 3R Fashions stating Spanish Town hot. And if we take a look at See Jamaica's YouTube channel at around 2:50 p.m. If you don't know by now, we have a partnership with this channel. And we saw that it was definitely a sunny hot day, vehicles and people going about their business. Nothing much to see here. We can also see the slight hazy conditions when we take a look at the hills of St. Andrew to the north. We don't see that very blue sky as usual because of the Saharan dust, and there's still some more Saharan dust to come. By the way, if you'd like to see more live streams like this, you can visit See Jamaica's YouTube channel. They show Crossroads, Halfway Tree, the Kingston Harbor, the Bogwalk Gorge, and they're planning on increasing the amount of cameras across the island. So go and subscribe from now. If we take a look at the accumulated precipitation for the past 24 hours from the Caribbean Institute for Meteorology and Hydrology website, this map kind of paints the picture of where we had the rainfall today. Yes, Western Jamaica, it's overdoing the Westmoreland rainfall than the Hanover rainfall, that is. It makes more sense to see it right here on the border of northwestern Westmoreland and Hanover right there. But eastern Westmoreland, not so much in terms of that rainfall, but definitely northern Jamaica. So it does definitely paint the picture of where we had the rainfall today for sure. Don't know about that part right there across Manchester, Clarendon, or northwestern St. Catherine. So we know these maps can be wrong sometimes, but they're here to show where we actually had the rainfall. And if we take a look at the visible satellite images of Jamaica before the sun went down, we can definitely see that there was still some amount of rainfall or isolated shore plaguing section of western Jamaica. But for the most part, by the time the sun was about to go down, it was definitely clear across majority of the basin. If we take a look at the infrared satellite images, right now we don't see much right here. As a matter of fact, let's reload these images so that we have the very latest. So the very latest image is as of 5 minutes past the hour. So this is as of 8:05 p.m. We can see there's nothing much to see here, definitely clearing out from whatever was taking place. If we take a look at the Cuban Doppler radar images, because you know the Jamaican Doppler radar has been done for quite some time, we still see that it has glitched out at 1 p.m. on July 26. So we're going to be having to use the Guantanamo Bay radar, which only shows Portland and Eastern St. Thomas. But as of right now, we don't see much of anything taking place. But what's notable was or is the rainfall that's affecting portions of Haiti as we speak. Look at that. Look at the blues, greens, yellows, and that's all representing some light to moderate to even heavy rainfall. And if we match this to the latest satellite images, we can definitely see that it validates. So let's skip ahead to the latest, and we can see the thunderstorms right here across portions of Haiti. They're definitely getting nailed as we speak. Alright, so if we take a look at the Cayman radar, we can see that nothing is taking place across Jamaica right now. Just some leftover stray showers associated with the tropical wave right there off to the southwest of the Cayman Islands. And if we take a look at the latest across halfway tree, not much taking place, persons going about their business. Halfway tree busy as usual at this time of evening, 8:18. Persons going about, cars driving here and there, and the weather is definitely dry. As it relates to the temperatures right now, we can see that we have 28 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 29 degrees Celsius in Kingston, and by about 4 a.m. on Sunday, temperature should dip down to about 26 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 25 degrees Celsius in Kingston. This map from the GFS is showing 18Z on Sunday, which is actually 1 p.m. on Sunday, and that's showing some orange or gold colors around Jamaica that we know represents up to 2 degrees Celsius above normal temperatures. We can see some grays across portions of the eastern Caribbean that represents average temperatures, some blues across the eastern United States that represents below average temperatures. But Jamaica's temperatures, 2 degrees Celsius above normal temperatures, considering that the normal temperatures for the month of July across Jamaica are about 91 degrees Fahrenheit. That's the hottest temperatures for the year in general. It's the peak of summer, so it makes sense. 91 degrees Fahrenheit when calculated, it's about 32.7 degrees Celsius. So we should be receiving anywhere from 32 to 34 degrees Celsius for Jamaica's temperature on Sunday if this forecast validates for 2 degrees Celsius above normal temperatures. As it relates to the Saharan dust forecast for 2 p.m. on Sunday, we're definitely gonna still be plagued by some amount of Saharan dust. We see the darker shades of browns that represent that vigorous plume, and it's also going to be affecting portions of the Bahamas, the Turks and Caicos, Haiti, and portions of Jamaica. So the sky won't be as blue, definitely hazy conditions, and we know the Saharan dust can definitely trigger some amount of respiratory illnesses, asthma, sinusitis in some person. But we're starting to see it dwindling. We see the lighter shades of browns, even although the Saharan dust is still here. We start to see more of it dwindling across portions of the Eastern Caribbean by 2 p.m. on Sunday. And we know a lot of this is pushing from east to west. So we're going to be getting in on a break very soon, bringing back some maybe clear skies in general. But we see that right behind that we still have some more dust coming off of Africa. And we know all of that is definitely going to be pushing from east to west eventually. As relates to the wave forecast for tomorrow, not much difference from the past couple of days. Lighter shades of blues to darker shades of blues that we can see by the key on the bottom right. That represents anywhere from 0.5 meter wave height to 1.5 meter wave heights, while we have the highest wave heights across the Caribbean to the south of Jamaica, where we see those purples anywhere from 2 to 3 meter wave heights. And that's because the winds are going to be strongest to the far south of Jamaica, where we see these yellows and gold colors that represents anywhere from 25 to 30 knots, while the rest of the Caribbean and the Gulf of Mexico should be receiving those duller greens to brighter greens that represents anywhere from 10 to 20 knot winds. And we see the general direction for these winds coming in from the east all courtesy of this ridge of high pressure right here, sending all of the air in a clockwise fashion around it. If we take a closer look at Jamaica's wind forecast, we can make out that if we're going to be getting some rainfall tomorrow, it could definitely pile up again across wherever we have the least amount of winds. So yes, we have winds coming in from the east, so whatever comes off of the sea could definitely affect sections of St. Thomas and Portland, maybe even spilling into St. Mary or sections of hopefully Kingston and St. Andrew if that actually verifies. But by afternoon we have that air piling up, the cumulus clouds becoming mid-level rain clouds, if not upper level cumulonimbus thunderstorm clouds, when we have that daytime heating, that diurnal convection. So that's definitely a possibility during the afternoon for sections of Westmoreland, maybe sections of St. Elizabeth right there. And with the upper level winds, well, we actually have an upper level trough across the island as we speak. We see the air curving around like that. That's a trough if you haven't seen one. Definitely troughing activity taking place. As a matter of fact, if we look at these images, we can actually see the trough in a sense. We can see the upper level wind blowing the high cold cloud tops off in such a way that we can say yes, this is definitely a trough. So we see the clouds coming from north to south, then curving to the east, then curving to the north right here. That's definitely a trough, and Jamaica is right there smack dab in the middle of it right here. So a trough is definitely in our area. So some afternoon thunderstorms are definitely not out of the question, especially even although we have the Saharan dust in our area. So yeah, some afternoon thunderstorms definitely possible. And if we actually take a look at the rainfall forecast, we don't see much rainfall for the morning hours, but if we would have had it, maybe across section of Portland as usual, maybe eastern St. Thomas, section of St. Mary. But by afternoon, we start to see the consensus with where the rainfall is expected. More so section of some central and western parishes. And we see that the GF is a bit more robust than the Euro in terms of the rainfall. By the way, this is valid for 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 2 p.m. Jamaica time. So the GFS showing some blues, even some greens and yellows in there that represents what, some heavy rainfall at around 3 p.m. 4 p.m. And we also see some of it spilling into sections of Hanover, Westmoreland, maybe sections of Manchester. We also see some dots of blues across sections of St. Catherine, Kingston and St. Andrew. We'll see exactly what unfolds. Either way, the Euro model is kind of in consensus with that across sections of Central and Western Jamaica. We'll see exactly what unfolds, and I'll definitely be here to keep you posted on my other social media platforms at around that 2 p.m. time frame to see exactly what unfolded on a Sunday. And the accumulated precipitation forecast maps having some contrast, but it does paint a picture that yes, we're going to be receiving rainfall somewhere in Jamaica tomorrow, and we'll take it. We're in the month of July. According to these bar graphs, we usually receive less rainfall during this month in general. Kingston's bar graph right here at the top, Montego Bay's bar graph right here at the bottom. Kingston's bar graph we usually receive up to 50 millimeters of rainfall during July. Montego Bay's bar graph we usually receive up to 3.1 inches of rainfall during this month. If you don't know how to do the calculation for millimeters to inches, just know that 25 millimeters of rainfall is the same as 1 inch of rainfall. So you can do the math yourself, and you can visit weatherandclimate.com to find out what the annual or the yearly rainfall is like for your specific parish. Alright, so that is it for the forecast across Jamaica. Let us focus our attention on the rest of the Caribbean. So we can see that yes, we have the fast moving clouds associated with that tropical wave now lashing portions of Central America. As usual, we have the thunderstorm activity across portions of Northern South America, section of Haiti getting in on some evening thunderstorms as we speak, and the clouds associated with the tropical waves, as well as the intertropical convergent zone. If we take a look at the Doppler radar images of the northeastern Caribbean, let's see where we're having rainfall right now. We definitely see some dots of greens here and there that represent some light to moderate rainfall. Keep in mind that this is valid as of the latest. This is 8:25 p.m. Jamaica time, considering that the time is now 8:27 p.m. We can see the greens represents light to moderate rainfall in and around Dominica, Guadeloupe, St. Kitts and Nevis, Antigua and Barbuda, to the north of the British Virgin Islands. Some of this rainfall affecting portions of central Puerto Rico as we speak. You can see some yellows in there that represent some heavy rainfall. And if we take a look from earlier today, yes, we definitely had some rainfall coming into section of Antigua and Barbuda, the British Virgin Islands, section of Puerto Rico, especially south central or southwestern Puerto Rico, gotten on some isolated rainfall. And if we take a look at the Barbados radar, look at all of this rainfall, more so hit or miss isolated showers, and we see the general flow coming more so from the east northeast. So some of this rainfall could definitely make it onshore across Barbados. This rainfall is already plaguing portions of Dominica, Martinique, St. Lucia, St. Vincent, and the Grenadines, definitely getting in on some rainfall. Grenada, especially the northern portion, got in on some rainfall earlier, and they're still going to be getting in on some more. Some of this rainfall could also make it across section of Tobago and Trinidad right there. If we take a look at the wider view of Doppler radar images, we can see some rainfall across southwestern Florida, some rainfall that portions of Cuba had during the afternoon, rainfall associated with the tropical wave to the southwest of the Cayman Islands that we mentioned earlier, some rainfall to the northeast of Belize, some rainfall across northwestern Guatemala, across sections of Honduras, and we also see some rainfall to the east of Nicaragua. If we look southward, we can see some rainfall across northwestern Venezuela and sections of Colombia right there. And as it relates to the rainfall forecast and what's expected within the next 24 hours, keep in mind that both of these maps from the Euro and the GFS are showing all the rainfall that's expected from now up until 10 p.m. on Sunday. Not saying that's going to be raining from now all the way up until then, but these are the spots that are going to be picking up the most in the way for rainfall. So there's definitely going to be some troughing taking place, especially where we have the dust kind of dwindling. So in this region of the world right here, so the northeastern Caribbean, they could definitely get in on some troughing in a sense tomorrow, because the rainfall forecast even supports it. Look at this, some greens and yellows that represent some rainfall. The Sahara dust definitely dwindling in that portion of the basin, so definitely some rainfall in store for section of Puerto Rico, the eastern British Virgin Islands, St. Kitts and Nevis, Antigua and Barbuda, St. Martin, Guadeloupe, Dominica, St. Lucia, sections of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Barbados, and even if we skip south of there, we can see more rainfall in store for section of Suriname, section of Guyana, not much for French Guyana, but definitely a section of Venezuela, not much for the ABC Islands, but definitely a section of Colombia, Panama, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Honduras, El Salvador, Guatemala, Belize, section of Yucatan Peninsula. Don't see much in the way of rainfall for the Cayman Islands, just some isolated spots. And we see some rainfall for sections of Haiti, Dominican Republic, section of Cuba, section of Florida, and section of the northern Bahamas. I know that when both maps from the Euro and the GFS are in consensus like this, the chances of it actually happening are much higher. Alright, so that's it for today. Thanks for watching.